Hey everybody, welcome back to the best US Mint news channel on YouTube. I'm Son of a Silver Stacker. I got a good one for you today. We're going to be talking about the Lincoln cent and what possible Lincoln cent people will be collecting once the Lincoln cent gets deleted, if it gets deleted at all. Now, before any of that, if you're new here, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to reach a bazillion subs. It's a really big number. Not sure exactly what the number is, but it's ginormous. I just know it. Also, we're always live, never edited, and always unscripted. I never know what I'm not going to say. Also, there's a special offer. We have a coupon code for an eBay seller, so stick around. You're going to want to check that out. Now let's bounce over here to moneymetals.com. So gold's down 26.35 to 33.04.30. Silver down 21 cents to 33.31. Platinum down 10.20 to 10.85.85. Palladium down 7.50 to 9.98.10. Dr. Copper's the only one seeing some green action, up 2 pennies to 4.69 a pound. Down here, you're looking at in-stock American Silver Eagle, whose premium is $6.49 for the quantity 1 through 39. They got you paying $39.80. I'm telling you, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Down here is the sell to them price. The buyback is $34.73, and that is definitely above the silver spot price. Next up, the United States Mint's product page, and would you look at that? So this is the 250th anniversary of the Marine, 250th anniversary of the Navy, and we know what an American Silver Eagle looks like. We know what the emblem of the Navy and the Marine look like, and we also know the price and the mintages for these particular coins featuring the United States Army. I would imagine they're identical, almost the same, if you will, except for the emblem. Now, if that's the case, why hasn't the United States Mint even put any of these photographs up or pictures? Really makes you wonder what's going on over there. Now, next up, bingo! Look at this. This is amazing, folks. The United States Mint has done something quite remarkable. I think I've only seen it one or two other times where they've actually put a YouTube video link into their product page. So this is DC Comics 2025 2.5 ounce silver medal of Superman, the Man of Steel. And I gotta show you this. Look at him. He looks yoked in this video. And really, I mean, this does the medal justice. Can't wait to see what this thing looks like in hand. And that really portrays that Man of Steel image right there. I think that's phenomenal. And now I have to get it because of this video. I was thinking, well, yeah, but now I'm like, yep, 100%, gotta have it. And now that begs the question, what is this bad boy going to cost? Well, we know that American Silver Eagle is about 95 to 105 bucks right about now. So that's 2.5 ounces. You're looking at least 200. And then the half ounce, well, that's going to be what, $50, $75 for that? So we're looking probably $275 for just the silver, okay? And then I think you'd have to factor in the licensing fees and whatnot. This could be a $300 medal or $325 medal. But here's the thing. If it has a mintage of 2,500, 5,000, or 10,000, wouldn't that be worth it? Well, for me, I think it would be. At 10,000, I think, is probably going to be the limit. And the reason I say 10,000, folks, is because the 2.5 ounce silver medals featuring the Armed Forces had that identical mintage. And these obviously aren't Armed Forces silver medals. However, I think that is consistent with their production. Now, let's keep on keeping on. I got some really cool stuff to show you. This is Numismatic News, and this is by Patrick Heller. And its title is, Will the U.S. Mint Melt Down Older Lincoln Cents? What? Yeah, that's kind of scary, right? Aren't we the ones going to melt them down, right? Sell it for the copper that they're worth. It says here, as penny production ends, collectors and hoarders alike wonder what's next for billions of U.S. cents still in circulation. All right, you may have some in your car, in between your seat and your center console. You may have some under your floor mats. You may have some in your couch at your house, right? So this is a 1909, looks like a Philadelphia strike. Got the VBD on there. VDB. Did I say VBD? I don't even know what I'm saying. Now it says here, within the past week, the U.S. Mint confirmed that it had made its final order for cent blanks. When those are struck into coins, the Mint will no longer produce cents for circulation. And folks, they said early 2026 will be the end of the Lincoln cent. So if you're buying up the 2025 right now, that's probably fine. But you're probably going to also have to buy up those 2026 if that's what you're up to. What will happen with the 400? Wow, that's amazing. What will happen with the 400 billion copper-coated Zinc cents struck since 1982, or the 150 billion almost pure copper memorial cents struck from 1959 through 82? Well, that's all great questions. What will happen with all these coins is now in the hands of the public. Wait, what will happen with all these coins is now in the hands of the public. With the United States government stopped redeeming silver, when the United States government stopped redeeming silver certificates for physical silver in 1968, a huge quantity of them were kept by people who thought they might become scarce rarities. They ended up taking huge losses because the government's inflation of the money still supply. That's right. That's how it happens. Still, I expect people to once again hoard significant percentages of these Lincoln cent, and aren't they already? And hasn't this notification since the late February maybe spurred people to go to the banks and pick up boxes and boxes and boxes and rolls and rolls and rolls of Lincoln cents? Absolutely. No doubt about it. For a practical path for the future, consider what happened in Canada. I think this is a really good article because he references Canada, because it seems to me, and probably a lot of other people who are into numismatics, that the United States Mint follows what the Canadians do. And I don't want to say lockstep, but I mean, they are pretty closely related. And I got to talk to you about the Bahamas, because the Bahamian government, they got rid of the Lincoln, or their cent, not the Lincoln cent, but their cent had the starfish on it, I believe. And the thing is with that, those coins were made by the Royal Canadian Mint and the Royal Mint in the United Kingdom. So yeah, when they stopped producing them in Canada, they probably said, look, we're going to be probably done with these, but I'll show you that here in a second. Check this out. Canada ended production of its cents, officially referred to by the Royal Canadian Mint, RCM, as 1-cent coins, okay, on May 4th, 2012, and stopped distributing them on February 4, 2013. So it took a year, right? Cents dated 1982 to 2012 still have technical legal tender status in amounts up to 25 cents, though older cents tend to be treated as also being so Canada got rid of them, but it's still legal tender, and that's probably what's going to happen here. All right, businesses may continue to accept these coins voluntarily, but are encouraged to round transactions to the nearest 5 cents. So if it's a onesie twosies, it goes to 0, and if it's a 3 or 4, I imagine it goes to the higher 5 cents. Right? Virtually all Canadian business no longer accept cents in payment. Transactions settled by checks or payment cards can still be paid to the exact cent. People can still deposit cents into their Canadian bank accounts for full value. That's amazing, actually. And the bank returns them to the bank to remove them from circulation. So I think what's going to happen here in the United States is that we're going to have a time where the United States government's going to be like, well, you can turn your pennies in for full value. They may even give you a bonus, right? Because it's copper, especially the copper. They might say, well, we'll give you, 1.5 times the face value because it's copper. It's worth 3 or 4 cents, yada, yada. And then I think at some point over a period of, a term, they're going to be like, well, after 6 months or a year, it's going to go to 1 time, to face value, and then 75% of face value, then 50% of the face value. And then after that, they probably won't be accepting them. Or they could just say, you know what, turn them all in now and make that a law, right? So that would be like, what? That would be a mind boggler. It says here, however, on January 1st, 2021, Canada removed the legal tender status of its previously issued currency in the denominations of $1, $2, $25, $500, and $1,000. People can still deposit them in their Canadian financial accounts for full face value, where such notes are also returned to the Bank of Canada to be removed from circulation. Now, the U.S. government could follow a similar pattern for what was done in Canada and previously in Australia, New Zealand, and Sweden, when those nations discontinued their 1 cent, 2 cent, 1 or, and 2 or coins. What's interesting, that I'll talk about the Bahamian, but I will in a minute. A conundrum exists in the U.S. where the metal value of the copper Lincoln cent struck up to 1982 has a metal value of more than 2.5 cents. And now it's illegal for Americans to melt them down except for personal projects such as making them into jewelry or sculptures of that nature. Similarly, at least I believe that's okay. You can make art out of it, I think. Now, similarly, it is illegal to hand carry more than $5 face value of U.S. cents and nickels outside the country or export more than $100 in a package. What? Yeah, they give me them back. You know what I mean? They don't want them out. If zipped right past that one. If Americans at some date can no longer use cents in everyday commerce, but can still deposit them into their financial accounts, a massive quantity. Now, is this true? Think about this. I don't know if I agree with this, but it definitely is an amazing statement to make. Let me read it again so it settles in. If Americans at some date can no longer use cents in everyday commerce, but can still deposit them into their financial accounts, a massive quantity of the copper Lincoln cent struck up to 1982 would be, right? It would be returned to the Federal Reserve banks. Couldn't the U.S. Mint then melt down these coins to profit from their higher metal value. Although I have not heard any such plans, don't be surprised if it happens within the next decade or so. And what I think is going to happen, they may make it illegal to make a profit from those, because look, if it's worth, more than face, they want their money. It's their money, right? It has their name on it, United States of America. And they could make it illegal. They could make it half face. We're in some interesting time, folks. And this is the withdrawal of low-denomination coins. This is a really good article on Wikipedia. The withdrawal of the country's lowest denomination coins from circulation, usually a 1-cent coin or equivalent, may either be through a decision to remove the coins from circulation or simply through ceasing minting. That's exactly correct. Now look at this. This article appears to be slanted towards recent events. Please try to keep recent events in historical perspective and add more content related to non-recent events. And that is May 2024. Not sure what's going on there, but let's go ahead and go to the Bahamas here. And it says here, production of the 1-cent coin ended on 31 January 2020. 1-cent coins were made as valid coins for use until 30 December. Look at that. 2020. So they ended on 31 January, which is interesting, 2020. And then by the end of the year, they were gonzo. Now, they were accepted for full redemption from partner banks of the Central Bank of the Bahamas through 30 June 2021. And now they don't, you can't even get them there. You can't get rolls, and they don't accept them. It's kind of incredible, actually. And that's what's going down there. Now, let's go to the next stop. And this is an article by Charles Morgan, dated May 28, 2025, over here at Coin Week. This is important, folks. Look at the 1909, 1943, 1955, and a 1987D. Gosh, what was the 87D, folks? Oh, yeah, the repunched mint mark, right? So these are all super special coins. I think everybody should probably own one of them, maybe not in the grade. Hey, look, and you can tell that one's been graded. It's got the holder there. These are all special. Let me keep reading. Thinking of starting a new hobby? Here are the 4 great reasons to start collecting pennies. And now, if you're starting collecting pennies now, you know what? You may have an advantage over the rest of us, because you could focus on the more important things when the rest of us have been pretty much collecting everything, right? Now, it says here, the pennies' days are numbered. Ooh, no, that sounds terrible. The United States Mint has placed the final order for penny blanks, signaling the end of the 1-cent production by the year's end. Now, I've heard multiple things. These guys could be right. They could be wrong. But what's interesting is that we're hearing multiple statements. And we know the United States Mint has already produced billion Lincoln cents for 2025. And we've also heard stories that the United States Mint has enough planchets for those Lincoln cents to end production in the first part of 2026. And we've also heard that there's legislation out there in the Senate and the House that numismatists shouldn't be concerned about the Lincoln cents deletion from circulation, because they will be provided to them in their annual products from the United States Mint. So that's not so bad. Despite pennies accounting for roughly 40% of the Mint's annual output, their production costs exceeded their value. Yeah, they don't talk about by how much, but we know it's quite a bit. Over 100 billion pennies remain in circulation. That's incredible. Though consumers typically hoard them instead of using them in commerce, or they throw them in the parking lot, or put them in give a penny, take a penny tray, right? Because look, sometimes you get like 4 pennies and change. Don't you just put them in the give a penny, take a penny once you look through them? I do. You've got to look through them, right? Always check your pocket change. That'd be foolish to just go, hey, you know what I mean? Over 100 billion pennies remain in circulation, though consumers typically hoard them instead of using them in commerce. Once penny production stops, the Treasury will soon be unable to supply banks and businesses, drastically reducing penny availability. While the Treasury hasn't announced plans to phase out pennies, it quietly withdrew silver coins in the 1960s without public notice. Why do you think that was? Because people would have hoarded them, right? Expect the penny's widespread circulation to fade soon after production ends. And let's go back to this article. Remember, we talked about withdrawal of low-denomination coins. Let's go to the United States. It's down here at the bottom under U, right here. Look at Turkey. They've gone through a bunch of coins. Old nation. All right, United States, here we go. Half-cent penny, right? 1857, right? All U.S. coinage pursuant to the Coinage Act of 1965 is legal tender for any amount. And then here they got a popper. Coinage can only be eliminated through an act of Congress. Yes and no, right? So this is... we're in new territory, folks. All the Treasury has to do is say, don't make any more. And they won't, right? Oh, sorry, we didn't order enough planchets. We're not going to make any more. Even though it's Congress's job to actually make that law to get rid of them or to stop production. We're in an interesting time, folks. Collecting pennies is affordable for now. And I think that's the greatest qualifier we could ever see is for now. That's a great way to frame it. It says you can visit a bank and buy rolls or boxes of pennies at face value. Can you? Haven't you been to your bank and aren't they telling you, nope, can't get any, sorry. Try the other bank down the road. The bank supply of cents won't last forever, isn't that the truth? Before scarcity drives demand, know that the penny collecting is a low-cost hobby for most unless you chase certified high-grade coins, which are highly speculative. Absolutely. And here's the thing. I mean, isn't coin collecting, mostly it's speculative, right? But like I said, here we go. It's a low-cost hobby. You can get a roll of Lincoln cents for 50 cents. You can get 50 or you can get 100 examples for $1. And imagine 100 examples, maybe take you 15 minutes to go through them, and it's fun. It's kind of a nice way to spend some time. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Coins with the best potential for appreciation are mint state examples, that's MS, with vibrant color, strong eye appeal, and no signs of handling. It's all about eye appeal, folks. If a coin that's graded makes you say wow out loud, it's probably a nice coin. Or maybe wow in your head, like, oh my gosh, look at that. Yeah, it's probably an amazing coin. Circulated pennies quickly show wear, damage, or discoloration, zinc and cents. For basically, even, have you ever seen people's fingerprints on coins? What's up with that? They just squeeze it and it's there forever. And then where the other, maybe that's not a fingerprint. I don't know. For basic collection, circulation finds are ideal for mint state coins. Consider the mint's annual uncirculated sets. And I've been telling you guys that I think the best possible examples of mint state coins are in uncirculated sets. And that's why I buy 10 every year. Only because I love my uncirculated coins. And that's a 1983 right there. Bronze off metal. Error. That's interesting. Now, some pennies are worth more. The Lincoln cent, a 116-year-old series, is America's most collected coin due to its rare dates, varieties, and mint errors. Some valuable coins, like the 1969 S double die, 1983 off metal strikes, 1992 D close AM, continue to circulate. Others, like the 1909 SVDB, 1914 D, or 1955 double die, require purchases from dealers or auctions. As pennies disappear from circulation, interest in the series will likely grow, intensifying competition and increasing prices for scarce issues. Folks, this is exactly what's happening already, okay? And I'm not saying these guys are a day late and a dollar short, but they're definitely pointing out something that is currently underway. And that's incredible. Look at this. Baseball cards and coins. They're talking my language. Nostalgia fuels penny collecting. Absolutely. For Americans who grew up with memories of spending pennies on gumballs and baseball cards or saving them up in jars, seeing the 1 cent go may trigger an emotional response. Absolutely. Or reaction. One might not feel it right away, but nostalgia is a powerful force that drives collectible markets. This emotional connection prompts people to seek items tied to their past, Superman coin, which is why analog media like vinyl and video game cartridges have seen resurgence in interest in recent years. The penny will likely trigger a similar nostalgic moment for people. And look, nostalgia is not bad, right? It reminds us of our childhood. It reminds us once of our dreams. And it's not such a bad thing. Just as in 1857, and I showed you that here on the Wikipedia page, 1857, right there, when the Mint discontinued production of the large cent in favor of a smaller version, similar to the type we use today. Holding old money is like holding history in our hands. Some say in the coin collecting industry, right? In this way, coins serve as totems for our past selves and our memories. It might be obvious now, but there will come a point when seeing a penny is an unusual circumstance, right? They're in the billions, and when they're not, they're not. When that happens, those memories will come racing back. Isn't that a cool article? And this is by Charles Morgan, May 28, 2025, from Coin Week. And I got to show you here. This is a excellent article by the folks over at Graysheet. It's published February 11, 2025, Collecting Strategies for Lincoln Cents. This coin, I mean, it's the first coin to feature a real person, folks, and it's going gonzo. And the first one to feature a president. I mean, this is a very special coin, folks. I'm just going to go ahead and go straight to the meat and potatoes. Look at the full series, 1909 to present. The key dates, okay, 1909 SVDB, 1914 D, 1922 no D, 1955 double die obverse. Yeah, those are some of the ones we saw in the picture here, right? 1909, 1955. So there are some high quality coins to be found out there. Now, these are just, and you could just get the types, right? You can do typesets. You don't even have to collect them all. The wheat cents, 1909 to 58. Memorial reverse, 59 to 2008. Modern Lincolns, 2009 to present. Proof issuances right there, 1909 to present. That is amazing, folks. And I'm going to leave a link in the description for this. Now, I want to share with you a coupon code for this particular seller on eBay. It's Waverly Coins. They sell a tremendous amount of Lincoln cents, but that's not all they sell. The code is SilverStacker12, one word. It's a private coupon code that's only going to be shared with people on this video. You're the only one that's going to have it. It offers a 10% discount on all this gentleman's seller's coins that you see here on eBay and is valid for use on the entire store, not just these Lincoln cents that you see here, until June 5th. And the maximum savings, I think, is $100. So he's got some really cool items here. And that coupon code is SilverStacker12. There you go, folks. Hopefully you're able to use it and get some really cool items. We got 92 results for Lincoln cents. But like I said, that's not all he sells. Let's keep on keeping on. This is the CentFinder hunting mats. And I got to show you. Remember the picture here? 1987D. They showed that. And you're probably like, well, why is the 1987D on there? I mean, the other ones were kind of obvious. 1909, you got the steel penny, but 1987. Let's go take a check at what's going on there. 1987 Denver. It's got a little. So, okay, what you're seeing here, folks, is the CentFinder hunting mat. It's 31.5 inches across. It's almost 3 feet across, 36 inches. It's almost obnoxiously big. I love it. And you'll be able to fit tons of coins on there. It's got the vivid black. It's a high contrast theme. And it's been designed to help coin hunters like you and me find rare and valuable Lincoln cents quickly and efficiently, spending less time referencing which varieties go with which year. You don't have to go to the video of YouTube or you've got to reference a book. It's all right here in front of your face in a beautifully high contrast legend. All right. This is amazing. Every variety is recognized by PCGS Grading Company. It's shown on the mat, including the new 2023 Extra V. That's right over here. Then the 2024 No VDB. And then next year's 1776, 2026. Yeah, that's going to be amazing. And we really are proud of what our friend Mickey Minsky over Iris Gifts has done. He should definitely be having his own company selling this. He's remarkable. So this is going to help everybody find those valuable Lincoln cents without any problems. I mean, just look at that. You don't even have to reference anything. Look at this. No FG. Easy to figure out. A DDO from 1980. But look at this. 1982D. Yeah, large date, small date, bronze, DDO, DDR. A lot going on there. Look at this. 1988 doubled ear. What's an FL and a G? Wait, what? FL and G. Oh, a flared G. See, there you go. Pretty amazing, huh? Now let's go to the plus ones. I got some really good ones for you today. Bingo! This is shame. Yeah, shame. Shame is an iron fence against sin. Now, what that means? Well, let's find out. Shame versus guilt. Let's start there. Shame and guilt are often used interchangeably. However, guilt is more related to our specific actions, while shame is more about personal worth and identity. And I think it might be the fear of shame and public judgment that might keep you from doing stuff that might be considered anti-social. Yeah, think about that. And counterproductive to getting along with everybody. So that's shame. And shame keeps us in check, and that's why it's an iron fence against sin. Now let's bounce over here to 395 99.9 KOIN Coins Radio. This is the specials, a message to you, Rudy. And it's the 2015 Remaster, and I dig this band, one of my favorite bands. What a great bunch of songs there. Yeah, loving it. Now, with that said, I want to thank you all for coming. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you do like what you hear and see, sub the channel. It's absolutely free. Now, what's not free is, well, the store, but those are worth it, totally worth it. And then the membership, it's $1.99 a month. It's the price of an inexpensive cup of coffee or a cheap cup of coffee, whichever you prefer. And you get to hang out and watch these videos 18 hours ago, 5 days ago, 9 days ago. And we explore some fantastic information, and you can ask questions directly to me and our panel guests, and we try and give you the best information you could possibly get on YouTube pertaining to the United States Mints. Products, reviews, everything, you name it, under the sun. Stacker out.